right now, as we record this, an absolute shock to myself is the Chicago Bulls being undefeated. Now, they ended last season 15-5. Whether that was just because it's the end of the year and guys aren't taking it seriously, and then they had the blowout loss to Miami in the play-in, which kind of shattered everything back to earth. But they've started out 3-0 to begin this year. Has that been a surprise? Because, Coach, I know you were a lot higher on the Chicago Bulls than I was. Is
Well,
this a
I'm
surprise to you? What are you seeing? Because I know
I,
we've talked about their bench on the last episode. What are you seeing
well,
from the Bulls?
I'm really high on their coach, as you know. I'm really Billy Donovan and I are very close friends, and I've known him since he was coaching at Florida for the last 25 years. We've been close friends. He's a Hall of Fame inductee this year. Uh, he's so good for the game of basketball. Uh, he's one of, in my opinion, he's one of the 5 or 7 best coaches in the league, which people would say, well, big deal. No, you have 30 of the best coaches in the world, and you're one of the top 5, and you're not winning. And I'm not talking about championships, as the reason I'm picking you. He's got a great influence over the game. He coaches the right way. He's got great temperament, but his team plays incredibly hard. An amazing statistics is the last year, even with a kind of a roller coaster year, they finished, I think, in the top 3 offensively. So he really has figured out how to coach offense in this league. He doesn't have a good defensive team.
Yeah.
And so far, and that's, because he doesn't have shot blockers, but he has athletes, he has perimeter players.
Well, the thing is, they don't have a true identity. Like, they don't have elite shot blockers. They don't have elite point of attack defenders like they used to be Alex Caruso. They don't have a go-to scorer like a Shea Alexander or a
Right.
Giannis. But what they're doing is they're running 10, 11-man rotations for 48 minutes. It's a 5-out offense. They're gunning in transition. They're moving the basketball. They're moving bodies. They're playing with the foot on the gas pedal all the way down from the first tip-off to the final buzzer, and it's just annoying for other teams to play against a team that plays like this. That's the like watching the Chicago Bulls. If I was an opposing team fan, I would just be annoyed. I'm like, it's October. Why are these guys playing so damn hard? And I love it.
Well, you know what else? They've developed depth there. So they have, as you said, they have over 10 players to play in a game, which means if you don't have a Giannis, a star, if someone's out, you got guys that
Yeah,
can play and they're
and
used to playing.
their
I love
most
it.
used player right now is Josh Giddey, who's a pass first player. He has the
Yep.
highest usage percentage on a team, and he's always looking to distribute the basketball, throw the go ahead pass in transition. So I'm really enjoying this start to the season for the Bulls. The question is, though, is it sustainable throughout the oncoming NBA schedule?
I think that's one of those things that what you learn as a coach in this league for so many years is that you can only control what you can control. You can't control if your best player gets hurt. You can't control if your best player fouls out in the game. Uh, but what you can control is what you do offensively and defensively, how hard your team plays, and are they prepared? Those are the things. And do they play with a high basketball IQ? Those are the things I'm looking for. And that's how I evaluate coaches in this league, how your team plays based on the way you want them to. And when I see that, I get excited. So I'm very, very bullish on the Bulls because I like the way they're playing. They're doing it up to the speed. I like the way Kenny Atkinson's teams play at Cleveland. I like Missoula's teams because of the way he has now said, this is the way we're going to play. And I love it. I love it because he wants them to have an identity, and I think that is great. I think Mike Brown is doing the same thing in New York. He's changing an identity, and even though they lost last night, they played really well at points during the game. Really well.
Well, anytime you look at a hot start for a team, you have to look at kind of outlier shooting from opponents. And the Bulls' opponents have shot just 26% from behind the arc this season. The Bulls have done a good job. They limit them to just 26, 27 threes a game. And they're shooting a low percentage. But all of the guys in Chicago are defending on a string. And I think a big factor of this low shooting percentage is the tired legs of their opponents. So these guys have come into camp, into the preseason, well conditioned, cohesive, and you're seeing them reap the benefits of
Hmm.
all of that preparation. Like, the offense isn't a hugely efficient offense, but their defense is like I said before, it's just annoying. That's just the way I see it.
I believe they were 28th last year in defense, and that was a point of emphasis going into camp, so I'm glad. Now when the players say, coaches always say, "We gotta play defense," but now when they see the results that they win,
Hmm.
that's it. They're buying into what the coach has been preaching,
And
which is good.
I spoke about this before on the show. One of my picks for most improved is Matas Buzuelis, and I've been told I've been pronouncing that incorrectly, so please forgive me. Uh, but I really think just his how dynamic he is in transition, on defense as well. He can block shots, contest shots. I'm really excited about him and how his game can develop, and I love his mentality because I remember in the pre-draft process before he got drafted, I think he was calling out guys to play him one on one in draft workouts, and no one wanted to play him.
Interesting. Well, he's a Chicago kid, even though he's Lithuanian, I believe, by descent. He's been born here and stuff, so he's really a U.S. kid. But he's got a lot of swagger for a young guy. Uh, but he was humbled the other night, didn't have a good performance and stuff like that, which is going to happen to young players. But what you find out in this league is when you do talk, all of a sudden you're on the radar. So he's going to see a lot of tough matchups, especially at the position he plays. And that's where be careful what you say to guys like Durant, Giannis, etc., because they're right around the corner.
Yeah, it's all well and good talking trash to
Aaron Gordon,
some of the
you
other
better be
rookies, but
careful what you say to those guys.